I mean Cogmal. So Cogmal, the first ban out here in the lobby. Again, like I said, we're doing 4 bans for this round of the tournament. So Cogmal being taken off the table very quickly, as we just saw, and Shin as well. So they neither team wants to go against the Kog'Maw or Shin because they were
Yeah.
just so good together right there.
And right now for HCL, their jungler is known for playing Nocturne as well as a jungler for Absolute Legends. So we'll most likely see either a Nocturne ban or a very coveted first pick Nocturne.
Ari being banned out first for from exHCL. See if Absolute Legends responds in kind. I wonder if they'll do a Nocturne or if they'll do an AP mid. Nocturne. There you go. And you kind of had an interesting factoid for yourself earlier about Nocturne when you said that any in the most recent tournaments you've seen, any team that has Nocturne almost always wins, right? So just taking him out of either team's hands is a way to win, then, right? It's a means to an end.
Yeah, Nocturne. I mean, still, we have yet to see a tournament game, at least personally, for Nocturne to lose. So you gotta ban it out. Don't want to take those chances.
Nocturne got banned from Absolute Legends, followed by Ari, Dr. Mundo, and Morgana.
Extinct, which is Ultraface right now, on this Extinct's on a Smurf playing as Ultraface. Very powerful AP player for Absolute Legends, known for his Morgana. He plays an exceptional Morgana. I've not seen him very much on Ari, but Ari is one of the most powerful AP carries right now. And final ban from Absolute Legends coming out to be Olaf. They don't want to deal with that. Youngbuck had to deal with that with Vladimir. Didn't have the time of his life in top lane. It was not fun for him.
No, he definitely was pretty much bullied out of lane the entire time. You know, they ended up winning, of course, because Kog'Maw, Shin, Lulu, and Janna were doing so much work. And his Hemo Plague was good, you know, was adding the 12% extra damage, which is always a good thing. But, I mean, that Olaf just destroyed him up in top lane. Udyr being the first pick from exHCL, I wonder if he'll be run top lane or as a jungle.
I couldn't tell you right now. Olaf is one of sorry, Udyr is one of those heroes that his only weakness is his susceptibility to being kited, and there are many heroes that can kite Udyr, but right now they're gonna be picking Soraka and not Janna against Udyr, so I'm not too sure about that. Soraka is considered one of the most overpowered supports right now just because of the massive heals she can put out. And Nautilus, so no much kiting against Udyr. It's really weird. In North America, NA servers, they always pick kite. If you pick Udyr, you're gonna be dealing with basically Ashe, Janna, and Nivea every game.
And Nautilus again is going to be their jungler. Nautilus did a lot of work, but he wasn't quite able to do as much work as Shin essentially in the last game. But he still proved his dominance. He did get a great gank off on Lulu in mid, but they weren't able to kind of snowball from there. Karthus kind of got shut down. Every time he would flash in to start doing all of his DPS, delay, waste, and defile, he got killed so quickly. The damage from AP Lulu was just way too much to handle. I wonder if we'll see another AP Lulu here.
Well, she did exceptionally well last game, and I would not be surprised to do so. The CC she can provide with Nautilus Engage is very powerful, but with Nautilus you really want a full-on engage composition, and I don't think Lulu can provide that. Lulu's more of a pokey kind of hero, not of a hardcore engage. So we may see a hero that can provide a harder engage. So by that notion, it could be Kennen, Karthus, or Cassio, one of those three.
That would be, I would love to see that team comp. I think that would be great. Karthus, Kennen, Soraka, Nautilus. Heck yeah. And Varus being picked up along with Janna for exHCL. I have yet to see a Varus in this tournament. He did come out this past week before we've had any other rounds, really. How do you feel about him as an AD carry overall?
I haven't seen much of him, actually. Varus, very underplayed right now, and I feel like he's people don't really know how to play him properly just yet. He does have a lot of damage though. He has the healing debuff, which is huge, as well as that ultimate, which if it lands properly, it's completely detrimental to the team. But he definitely has the high damage, but he feels like sort of a Kog'Maw mixed with Ashe in the sense that he has no survivability on his own. So he needs a team to support him, and that's the reason behind the Janna pick. Janna is one of the supports that can keep things off your AD carry or your carries just by herself. And Absolute Legends going for the hardcore engage as well. They're going with Ashe on the top lane, but they did go ahead with Lulu. It's still a good pick, but Ashe Nautilus, I mean, if you're out of position and you get arrowed, you'll probably go down.
Yeah, they're going to be definitely looking for every opportunity to capitalize on that enchanted crystal arrow. It's such a phenomenal engage. It's such a phenomenal ultimate. Everyone just loves to follow it into battle. And Corki being hovered over a little bit, could it be Varus top or mid? Not quite as their AD carry?
Hmm.
We'll definitely have to see.
I'm not sure yet. We'll have to see.
If Corki is locked in, I would imagine it would be Corki Janna down bot, Kinnan either up top or in the mid, or we're going to have Varus in the mid or up top.
I'm gonna have to say that it's Corki top lane.
Think so?
Mm-hmm. Corki is much better in the top lane, better suited than Varus because Corki has an actual escape, unlike Varus, and moves much faster. So he's a lot safer, as well as being able to deal more damage to the beef heroes that you typically see in top lane, because he does have that armor shred and does have that true damage with his passive. While Varus really needs the protection that Janna has to offer. So if Varus were to be top lane, no matter what was picked by Absolute Legends, it's an easy gank on top lane. And now you're gonna see Young Buck playing Riven against Corki. Now that's a melee ranged hero, but if she gets to jump on him, she should be able to go to town on him. Yeah.
Yeah. Corki's going to be really squishy underneath the foot of Riven. She scales super well. All of her attack damage makes it very, very hard to lane against. She's got AoE, she's CS as well, and Young Buck, an exceptional top lane player, so I'm sure he'll do well with that exceptional character. You know, just put her in his hands and he'll do everything from there. So still kind of ambiguous whether Varus or Corki will be going either top, mid, or bottom, really. I mean, I'm gonna have to just wait till I get into the game to actually see.
Yeah, same here. But we're gonna see Young Buck carrying Ignite against the Ignite that Corki has. Now, none of those have Exhaust, which both are heroes that rely on auto attack. So I was kind of expecting Corki to take Exhaust against Riven because he sort of needs that, because the auto attack damage from Riven is one of the highest, especially as the game progresses. She gains percentage damage increase based on her current AD with her ultimate, as well as the passive. Now I'm not sure on the passive's name, but it just hurts. It just hurts, and that's all that's needed to know.
Runic Blade is the passive. I didn't even actually know that myself. But we'll go ahead and look at let's go look at the runes of Riven. What is she running right now? She's running attack damage Quince, attack damage Reds, flat armor, and flat magic resist, kind of as expected. It's kind of, you know, she could be planning to go against Kinnan, she could be planning to go against Corki. Either way works. Corki is running attack damage Red, attack damage Quince, the exact same thing. So he could go anywhere. Varus, I'm assuming, is probably going to be running the same runes. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, he definitely is. So a lot of similar runes going around here. Just goes to show the strength of certain rune pages on certain characters. Kinnan has the magic pen. He's got the ability power. He does have the flat armor and the scaling AP. So we'll probably see Kinnan, I'd assume, in a mid capacity with Corki up top, Varus down bot with Janna, and Udyr in the jungle.
Now, Kinnan versus Lulu. Kinnan and Lulu are both known for being quite aggressive in the laning phase, both in farm from afar, as well as being quite aggressive with their auto attacks and their poke harass. So that's going to be an interesting lane to see. If they both decide to play passive, then we'll probably just have to look away and hide our eyes. But if they go aggressive, there's going to be a lot of action and a lot of interchange blows from each other. And with the presence that their junglers are going to provide, they should be able to put some entertainment out for us to watch. But now, Lulu again versing Udyr in the jungle. Udyr will most likely have to use a flash every time he wants to gank Lulu, just because one, glitter lance from Lulu should be able to keep Udyr at bay from her. Same go, but it's different for Nautilus against Kennen because Nautilus does have that dredge line to count as a gap closer. Couple that with his passive CC and his Riptides, he should be able to keep Kennen in play. So mid lane may see some aggression here from both the junglers, but in the end it's going to come down to top lane because top is going to be very aggressive. It tends to be an aggressive lane when it's a range hero against a melee, because the range hero feels like, alright, I got the edge in this, simply because I can outrange him. So top lane is going to be the lane to look out for this, I'd say.
Well, I'm definitely excited to see this match. If you're just tuning in, Absolute Legends versus exHCL. The first game did go to Absolute Legends. We'll see if they can take game 2 and sweep this series. In the meantime, I'm going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be straight into game 2. So many speculations and rumors and Reddit posts going around right now about you.
Yeah. Some are true.
Some are true. I'm going to take it that this is true.
Yes.
Dignitas, huh?
Can't make it to the gaming house. Had to find.
Now you got to go to Korea.
Yeah. 2 months.
Oh my god. We better
Pretty
finish
sweet.
Diablo 3 before then.
Oh, we're finishing Diablo 3 tonight, probably.
God damn it. Alright. So we are back from the commercial break, and we are going to get right into Game 2, Absolute Legends versus exHCL. The teams are Varus, Janna, Corki, Udyr, and Kennen against Nautilus, Riven, Ashe, Lulu, and Soraka. As far as the whole kind of encompassing team comps are concerned, who do you give the big advantage to here?
Oh, actually, my game's sort of bugged right now. I only get a screen on the bottom right side, of, right hand of my corner, and I can't remember how to fix that.
You can Control-Alt-Delete, Task Manager, right-click the League of Legends process.
Oh, maximize.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I had the exact same bug.
There we go. Awesome. Could you say that again, because I kind of missed it since I was lost in the whole maximizing thing.
As far as just whole team comps are concerned, who do you think has the advantage here?
The engage from Absolute Legend is so powerful right now. They have a large amount of CC with Riven. Riven's a hero that provides 2 CCs on her own, both on short cooldown. Same goes for Lulu, who has that AoE slow of 80%, and the kiting ability from Ashe. Couple that with Nautilus's ultimate and his entire toolkit, and Soraka's heal. I think I'm going to have to give the edge to Absolute Legends in terms of team count. On a 5-on-5 engage, they should be able to come out ahead, especially since exHCL is running double AD, so they should be able to rush a Frozen Heart on Nautilus, which is a core item anyways, and by the mid to late game, the damage output from HCL should be nullified, essentially, because Udyr also relies on auto attacks, so Frozen Heart will be very powerful in that sense.
Yeah, it looks like Nautilus is going to start at his Wolves and transition down to his blue buff. In the meantime, Varus and Janna are taking their own golems down here. Udyr's going to start blue buff as well. Both junglers off to a good start. exHCL giving a slightly stronger leash there because their bot lane is pretty much able to. I wonder if Nautilus will go with a smiteless pull here. Looks like he is going to get enough damage to go ahead and do that and maybe see it invade. How do you feel about Udyr versus Nautilus in the jungle in a one-on-one situation?
Nautilus is much more, Udyr is much more powerful, so I don't think we'll see an invade from Nautilus. But actually, it is Corki middle against Lulu.
Okay, that is not quite what we expected. So Corki versus Lulu in mid, Riven and Kennen up top. Down bot, Janna and Varus versus Ashe and Soraka. So Udyr is a little bit ahead right now. He actually did skip his race. He went straight to the red buff, so maybe looking for an early gank there.
But he did get spotted by the ward that exHCL has down in the Wraith camp. So exHCL knows his movement right now, knows where he's going, but he decides not to gank since he put 1 point, his second point, into Phoenix Dance and not into Bear.
Okay, so he has his red buff. He is double buffed right now. Nautilus is just now securing his red buff. Could move up top. The lane is pretty even up there. Kennen has a slight push on the Riven right now. Actually, he does have a big push coming. I take that back. There's a lot more caster minions there for the blue team than there is for the red team. And Nautilus knows that and looks like he's going to come in for a gank up here up top. Moving into the River Brush. It's not
Now
warded at
this
all.
is the perfect time for a gank.
Kennen blows his lightning rush really early. If he goes back in, he's going to be really in trouble here. But
they know his position.
Nautilus is going to go? No?
They want to make sure that Riven's close enough. Oh.
The lightning rush is going to be back up, and he jukes right into the river and flashes over the dredge line, missing that pull. That was, I think they waited just a little bit too long to go in on that. I don't
I
like
thought
that.
they should have gone sooner. But
As soon
they were trying
as
to make
he blew his lightning rush and went back in, I thought that was the time right there.
like even more so when he was on the farthest bush, on the one closest to the south. That one's not a good time to go. But as soon as he showed himself in the further one up, I think that AL should have gone absolutely just go for it, because Riven is so mobile that she could easily just use her spells and flash into place to stun, while Nautilus can keep Kennen's CC lock through his passive, through his stun, red buff, and title.
Exactly.
Riptide.
Riptide, he's got his dredge line, he's got his passive. I just think that was... He waited a little bit too long, and I just don't quite agree with it. Down bot, though, Varus putting the pressure on Ashe and Soraka, but Ashe and Soraka, again, a very, very heavy sustain lane down there. But the Hail of Arrows from Varus, he has that at level 2 right now, so he's maxing those two abilities, his Q and his E right now, not the Blighted Quiver right now. The Tornado is going to be dodged by a nice flash from Soraka. The Exhaust does come onto Ashe, but she's able to get out of there as well. As I was saying, the Hail of Arrows does apply Grievous Wound, which reduces healing by 50%. So if Varus decides to go all in and Soraka has to make a quick decision of healing Ashe within the Grievous Wound, it's really not going to do a lot for her, and it's going to be a bad thing down there. In the meantime, Lulu getting jumped on mid, forced to burn flash underneath her own tower. Corki and Udyr are going to back off there. Lulu was in a lot of danger right there, but able to shield herself and flash out.
Yeah, and of course the only way that Udyr can actually gank Lulu is burning his own flash, and he actually had to do that. So now the jungler from AL does have a flash. Meluno does have a flash, unlike Udyr, and he has 9 CS less though. But they may go for a dive right here on Kennen. They can do so because they know that Kennen's flash is down, and they have the damage and CC to take him down, no question about it. So we're just gonna have to see if Kennen decides to be a little curious Yordle and poke his head in that bush.
Yeah, that would be a dangerous, dangerous bush for that Chipmunk to enter right now. Riven and Nautilus both postured up for something. They're just waiting for him to push out, just waiting for a dredge line. He does not have his flash. He does still have his lightning rush up, so he could get out of there. And Nautilus wants it. He feels it. There's the dredge line hooking the Kennen into him. The passive will lock him down. Wow, Riven gets a nice flash and key burst, stunning him, igniting him, and taking him down underneath his own tower. That is first blood drawn in the favor of Absolute Legends up top. Riven and Nautilus doing a great
play.
gank. Yeah.
Great patience from Meluno, staying in that bush for I think a minute, just waiting for Kennen to get in range of dredge line, and then hooks him in while Riven uses both summoners to just take him down. And she didn't wait for the last jump of Broken Wings. Instead, she flashed to interrupt the duration of it and use her key strike to keep him in place, so as to ensure that she can land the last component of Broken Wings, just to make sure that they can keep Kennen CC'd for the longest time possible. Coupled with Ignite, there's no way that guy could have made it out alive.
Yeah, as soon as Kennen got hit with that dredge line, he blew his lightning rush. He covered a little bit of distance, but the Nautilus immobilization and the ensuing slow of Riptide allowed him not to cover as much ground as he expected with the lightning rush. So he was able to be bursted down and die right in his tracks. So a great, great gank up there, and first blood being given to Riven. It's something you do not want to see. She goes back, picks up 2 Doran's Blades and a Null Magic Mantle. You can build those into some Merc Treads to mitigate some of the damage of this AP Kennen up here. He does go back, get 2 Amplifying Tomes. Not quite enough to get a Hextech Revolver, which makes him a sad, sad Chipmunk, but he'll get it eventually. But right now, Riven being very, very strong.
But now the lane is definitely going to go into Riven's favor. Riven's one of those laning heroes that once she gets ahead, there's really no coming back for you. She can snowball so hard because her damage output is so so high and so reliable, as well as the CC and escape mechanisms that she has built for herself with such low cooldown and just such high damage that Kenan's gonna have a very hard time there unless he can get a gank off from Udyr. But right now we got the river warded and the other entrance for the river warded. So if Udyr is to gank top, he would be spotted no matter where he comes from except through lane, and even then Riven will most likely be able to escape that.
Corki decides to Valkyrie in and get a Foster's Bomb onto Lulu, but not able to follow up with any real damage. He does have the blue buff. Lulu also is rocking her blue buff. She has 2 Doran's rings. Corki has 2 Doran's blades, so they're both kind of going a slight Doran's route. Kenan goes back to pick up his Hextech Revolver and a ward just for good measure. Riven has her 2 Doran's blades and no Magic Mantle still. Down bot, Ashe went back, bought her Zerker's Greaves and a Doran's Blade, while Corki has 2 Doran's Blades and no Zerker's Greaves. 65 CS on Ashe to 74 CS of Corki. I'm sorry, I'm mixing up the lanes. It's Varus who's down bot against Ashe. 67 CS on Ashe, 71 CS on Varus. They both have Zerkers and 1 Doran's. I just kind of saw Corki and I assumed he was bottom. That was my bad.
And now some aggression going on mid lane. Mid lane's being a very aggressive lane, and just a flash ignite should be able to get him. Oh, and they suicide for the kill.
I don't know how that kind of worked out. I'm pretty sure Corki probably got the better of that, considering he's going back with more CS, but I'm not quite sure.
The lane's even though right now. It's barely even, just slightly pushed in the favor of Absolute Legends, so it may have been just an even trade right now. But it just comes down to the items that they've bought, because now, yeah, they both miss about the same amount of CS. Just
there's the flash initiate from Udyr down onto this Ashe down bot, and Ashe could go down. A nice enchanted crystal arrow will keep her alive for a long time, and Soraka's heal does a lot of work for her as well. Janna's kind of trapped in between this tower and Soraka, but Soraka not able to put out enough damage. The depth charge onto Varus will take him down, followed by the dredge line. Varus was just in no man's land over there, and he definitely paid for it. That's a 1-for-1 exchange. However, it's pretty much in exHCL's favor, because Varus got the kill and Nautilus only got the kill on Absolute Legends.
Yeah, you definitely want to give your kills to your carries while killing the carries. While killing the enemy's carries. That is the optimal situation. And for a jungler like Nautilus, Nautilus is not a jungler that can really carry from the jungler as hard as, say, a Nocturne or a Lee Sin can. So giving the kills to him will definitely make him tankier and a bit harder to deal with in terms of killing him. And it just won't have as big an impact though as giving it to an actual carry jungler. But the big factor about that is that he may now have a quicker frozen heart, and getting frozen heart is going to be the key for Absolute Legends to try to secure a 2-0 victory in this game.
That is very, very true. Corki mid doing a decent amount of work against Lulu. They're fairly even, I would say. Corki 91 CS, Lulu is dragging about 10 CS behind, but she does have a Kage's lucky pick, so she's helping her economic value. In the meantime, Udyr coming in for a super overextended Riven, and they will pick up that kill pretty quickly. Kenan does burn his ultimate, and Udyr's there to just clean up pretty much.
And Riven was relying on the ward in middle lane to spot Udyr coming from that side, but Udyr just simply snuck into the most standard path and managed to pick up the kill on Riven, and right now they're gonna
try to come on this Udyr. Nautilus does get the dredge line and the passive proc. The glitter lance will slow Udyr by a whole heck of a lot, but his bear stance and the deterrence of Corki will make Nautilus and Lulu kind of leave that kill be. Leave it for a rainy day.
And Nautilus's ultimate had just come up, which was something I want to point out. When they picked up the Varus that dove onto Ashe, I thought that using ultimate onto that Varus was overkill, because Varus did not have flash. There is no way he could have escaped Nautilus. So
that is very, very true. But he used it, and hindsight is 20/20, of course, because they could have picked up that Udyr kill with a depth charge, perhaps. But in the heat of the moment, he used it just to try to pick up the kill, and it worked, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have all the nice things.
Exactly. Nautilus, we see an early oracles picking up on him. Doesn't look like, I don't think anyone else has an oracles in the game just yet. So he's making quick work of all the wards on the map that Janna has so lovingly placed around. He's getting the second one right now. There is a third in the enemy jungle. but I don't think he's going to invade just to check out that ward at all.
Yeah, he's been clearing quite a bit of wards right now. He's doing a lot of work with that, and with the 2 gold per 5 items and not dying, he's able to maintain his gold amount and catch up with the enemy jungler exceptionally well. Just because the gold per 5 allows him to get the gold while he roams around killing oracles will mean that he doesn't have to be actually farming creeps. He gets the gold income from those 2 items, which is really powerful stuff.
Another gank coming up on the Riven up here. Corki has decided to come from the mid lane. A flash being burned on Kennen and Riven, and still not able to pick up the kill. It's kind of sad news for them.
Just barely getting out of range out of casting his 3rd proc of Mark of the Storm, which would have caused the stun and most likely the kill onto Riven.
Janna de-initiating down bot in that 3-on-2 situation. The Hail of Arrows also doing work. He does decide to max that first. He is maxing the Hail of Arrows first. It gives, I think it does more damage, and the slow also becomes more with every level. So he's going to use that entirely to his advantage. In between that and Monsoon, it's really a great disengage and a great runaway. CS-wise, Varus has 122 CS to Ash's 118, so they're staying very, very close to each other. Nautilus in the jungle has 68 CS, clearing out wards. Let's see how much gold he has amassed. He's amassed 3.5k gold to Udir's 3.6k gold, so Udir does have a little bit of a gold advantage there without having 2 gold per 10 items.
Yeah, and Udyr right now picking up the oracles, trying to make sure to counteract the map awareness that AL is gaining from the oracles that Nautilus has right now. So he's going to be having the oracles and has a chain vest just to stay alive against Riven and against Ashe, since they do have 2 physical damage. He doesn't really care much for the damage that Nautilus has to put out. Mostly about the physical right now.
I just love how every time Corki Valkyrie's in, Lulu is just able to kind of shield herself, move speed herself, take away all the move speed of Corki, and kind of just run away there. In the meantime, it looks like exHCL is going for a dragon here at the 15-minute mark. Absolute Legends is pretty spread out, so I don't think they have a real response to this. It's going to be a quick, easy dragon for exHCL at the 15-30-minute mark.
And now the gold is basically even, just 100 gold difference from exHCL, which is be referred as HCL since it's much easier. But yeah, the game's pretty even right now. CS wise, every lane's looking in a about 15 creep difference, not too much. We're gonna have to see how it transitions though when the team fights come around, which I think AL has the edge just because of their hard engage. But exHCL, not to be counted out, they do have the disengage from Janna and the AoE team fighting ability from Kennen, that is his slicing Maelstrom.
Udyr is kind of waiting in the wings. Looks like he wanted to try to go for a gank on Lulu, but the lane was pushed a little bit too hard, and he decides against it. He's going to go back into his own jungle and farm with his Phoenix stance. In the meantime, Nautilus is going to clean up a ward that Udyr decided to leave behind. Blue team is pinging as if they think Nautilus is coming up top after clearing that ward, but little do they know he's going to go to his own Wraith camp and clean that up. Ashe has the workings of Infinity Edge along with Varus. I think Ashe is a little bit further along. Let's see. Well, Varus is holding 1,700 gold, so he's definitely in the advantage there. He has 150 CS to Ashe's 142, and he has 1 clean kill as well. Ashe is just 0-1-1 right now.
Yeah, the is gonna give her a bit of money, but not too much. And now both junglers making their way on top lane, making sure that they can clear all the wards. So they want to make sure that top is not warded from both sides.
Amazing enchanted crystal arrow hitting Corki in the mid. A nice follow up on Lulu, and you know, a heal from Soraka just to get the assist for good measure. That was a lot of burst on that Corki. Wow.
And now, like, that arrow was perfectly pinpoint, because if Lulu was studying the how Corki was moving around,
the Tendril of Corruption does come out onto Lulu, but her ultimate kind of disengages the fight a little bit, and Udyr, Varus, and Janna are forced to run away, but Nautilus, he has something to say about that. He dredgelines Udyr right back into himself, but the slow from Zephyr and the hail of arrows is going to deter Nautilus from hard engaging any longer, but Man, Nautilus really wanted that kill on Udyr and got him dangerously low, but they were able to get out of there. Up top, Riven could potentially go down. No, her Valor shield is going to protect her enough, and she's going to be okay. It's pretty much just because she ulted up there, because that increased attack damage she gets from her ultimate scales into her shield. I'm pretty sure that completely saved her life.
I think Kennen was too scared though. I think he could have definitely killed him. It would have been by a hair though, because I mean Soraka's ultimate did go down in the mid lane fight, so Soraka's ultimate was the factor, is a factor in any fight in lane that you should consider, but it was down, so I don't see a reason why Kennen didn't want to engage that. He knows that Riven's damage is very high, but Riven right now doesn't have any armor penetration, unlike Kennen, who had just picked up a chain vest for that fight, as well as having a revolver to help him sustain himself in that fight, so may have been just playing it a bit too safe, in my opinion.
Alright, so that blue buff from Nautilus is going to be donated to Lulu now, so she's going to be rocking that in the mid lane. She loves that thing, able to spam all of her abilities. And Jaina trying to put down 2 more hits on this ward here, but Nautilus is going to come and clear up the vision ward and say, not my ward, not today. Up top, farm-wise, 123 CS on Kennen to Riven's 153, so Riven doing a fantastic job up there. 1-1 and 0 on Riven, 0-1 and 1 on Kennen. But Kennen did get an assist and a fantastic gank earlier, but Riven and Nautilus, that gank that they had at the beginning of the game was really, really brutal. Very, very patient, and able to solidify a kill really, really easily.
Game is so even right now. The gold is essentially the same. The lanes are all almost the same in kills and assists and everything. I just want to see a team fight break out already, get out of the laning phase and happen already. But I am sure it's gonna happen for the next dragon, which I think only exHCL knows the dragon timer of it, because they were the ones who take it down initially. So if a dragon fight is to break out, they'll most likely have the positioning advantage over Absolute Legends, but they do have that super hard engage with Nautilus, with Ashe and Riven. Couple that with Lulu, whoever gets picked off and hit by the enchanted crystal arrow will most likely be killed in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, I'm fairly positive that the deciding factor when it comes to a big, 5-on-5 team fight is going to be which target gets hit by the enchanted crystal arrow. If it's Udyr, then big whoop, probably nothing's going to happen of it. But if it's just about anyone else, it's going to be bad for exHCL. Because Absolute Legends does have the damage to follow up. They got the CC to follow up. If Corki gets hit, if Kennen gets hit, if Jaina gets hit, if Varus gets hit by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, they're going to be followed up by a Key Burst, a Dredge Line, a Depth Charge, a Riptide, a Nautilus passive, a Glitter Lance, just about everything that you could think of, and that person is going to die 100%.
It's gonna come down to how well can Jaina disengage against such a hard engage though, because they only have Jaina. Typically you want to have more than one disengage hero against a comp like this. Say you have an AP Jaina with a support Alistar, or a jungle Alistar as well. So it's really going to come down to how well can Jaina keep her team alive and prevent them from being insta-git. And now they're preparing for Dragon, which is already up, and both teams do have oracles.
In the mid lane, Lulu forced to burn her ultimate there in this engage right now. The Tendrils of Corruption does land onto Riven, but she forces a flash out of Varus, and she has to get out of the fight herself. A nice long-range missile does take her down, however, and it looks like there's going to be a little skirmish as well. Nautilus goes down right after he flashes, and Riven's down, Ashe is down. Great team fight from exHCL right there.
Fantastic disengage by Jaina. Couple that with Varus, as you see when the enchanted crystal arrow landed on Corki while he was being aggressive on Lulu. Jaina ults away as soon as the other team shows up, because they both have that ward in that little mid lane bush, and as soon as Jaina ults him away, Varus ults and manages to chain his Tendrils of Corruption into all of the members of Absolute Legends, being able to keep them in place and prevent them from basically moving forward to engage, while Riven just goes really aggressive, gets exhausted, and gets picked off immediately.
Yeah, so right now it's 6-4, kills in the advantage of exHCL. They have 2 towers. They have about 3k gold now after securing that next dragon. We'll see another dragon engage, another nice dragon fight in the next 6 minutes. But before then, if someone gets caught out of position, now is kind of Baron time. We could potentially see something like that happening.
Both teams don't have a very quick Baron though. If for a quick Baron, it definitely comes down for exHCL. They have a much better Baron team compared to Absolute Legends. Nautilus not the best for that, and same goes for Lulu and Ashe. But as you can see, Nautilus already now has a Frozen Heart, which is going to be huge for the next team fight. That item's going to help them out greatly. And once the team fight rolls in, if they can engage properly, and again without Lulu getting caught out of position like before, they should be able to severely hinder the damage that exHCL has to put out.
Yeah, against 3 auto attackers, I mean, that's exactly what they want. That Frozen Heart is going to be crucial. Lulu does pick up her Abyssal Scepter, and you know, we saw last game, Lulu apparently has amazing burst later game. We saw her do work on Graves, we saw her do work on Karthus and stuff like that. The targets that she wants to hit now are going to be the Corki, the Kinnan, and the Varus, of course. The Kinnan rather, does buy his Zanya's Hourglass, so he's going to be able to avoid a lot of the damage from the burst. Varus, purely offensive right now, he's got the Infinity Edge and the Zeal. Corki does decide to go Trinity Force. He does have a little bit of tankiness from the Phage, but I wouldn't consider it a straight tanky item in the least, really. So she has a lot of targets that she can hit. She has 224 CS. She has the Abyssal Scepter. She has the Blasting Wand. It's just a matter of time before she gets the DFG and is able to blow up just about anyone on exHCL. Couple that with the utility of the Frozen Heart, I think we're going to see some good team fights here in a second.
Yeah, and although Kennen does have no MR, though he's sitting at 32 MR, so I think Lulu's going to have the ability to burst him down as soon as she gets a Deathfire Grasp. We're going to see her do quick work of Kennen like she did on Karthus last game, which was almost 100-0 kill in about 1 second. But I think Kennen's going to be able to position himself in time to use his ultimate and then use Hourglass, which will protect him from any damage incoming, including the burst that Lulu has to say against him. So it's really going to come down to who can get the jump on who.
Yeah, most definitely. And you've been talking all game about the hard engage from Nautilus. We just need to see it.
And Kennen actually expects Lulu to focus him down and picks up a Negatron Cloak right off the bat, just anticipating that damage to be targeted at him. And with the Negatron Cloak, he'll most likely be building towards an Abyssal Scepter, Abyssal, and Hourglass, one of the most core items on Kennen, making him tanky as well as diminishing the damage and allowing him to cast a full duration of his Slicing Maelstrom. So good item pickup by him.
Most definitely. And Riven is going to be building. She has she's going into a Guardian Angel, I'd assume. She has the Chain Vest, the Cloth Armor, in addition to her nearly fully stacked Bloodthirster. Only losing half the stacks, of course, since a few patches ago when she dies with the Bloodthirster instead of all of them. So she's doing a good job of farming them back up. She's going to come into this fight with a plus 39, so she only needs a few more CS really to get that fully stacked. She also has an Elixir of Fortitude, just for good measure. It's about halfway run out. And we're going to see a little bit of a Baron dance here. We'll see what happens. Just clearing out wards. Soraka does have that Oracles. Udyr has the Oracles. So both teams clearing each other's wards. Neither team really has an absolute advantage here on this Baron, except exHCL, of course, has a positioning advantage, just being the blue team. The flash slicing Maelstrom initiate there onto 3 members of Absolute Legends. The Lulu ultimate will come onto Riven, saving her from a lot of the damage, and Corki gets bursted down so well. The activation of Riven's ultimate takes him down. Udyr goes down, and now there's going to be a 2-for-0 exchange in the advantage of Absolute Legends, trying to chase down potentially this Varus, Kennen, and Janna. That initiation did not go as expected at all.
I don't think that was a smart move by them, because Kennen was by himself. He did manage to get somewhat of a good initiate on to Absolute Legends, but it costed 4 flashes from their team. It took 4 flashes to engage in that battle, which also lost them the Oracle advantage that they have, and this will most likely be a Baron if Varus can make it in time.
We'll have to see. Their DPS is very, very slow on this Baron. They could be forced out of it. Kennen putting a couple Marks of the Storm onto Lulu, and it looks like he kind of wants to go in on this. Of course, he doesn't have his ultimate. We saw him use it last fight. Riven does pop her ultimate, and they're going to get the Baron right there. The exhaust onto Janna. She is forced to burn Flash. The Dredge line just misses the little Chipmunk right there. But, I mean, Absolute Legends is pretty low here, and they could go down. Nautilus has to flash. Lulu burns her ultimate to try to knock up Udyr away from her. She flashes as well back to the safety of her own tower, turning around and Glitter Lancing and slowing that Udyr by 80% and able to get out of there. So that is a Baron on all 5 members of Absolute Legends right now.
Udyr just kited around, unable to stay in front of Lulu. The Riptide from Nautilus as well as the Glitter Lance, 80% slow. There's no way that Udyr is going to be able to make it to touch Lulu anywhere without using Flash himself. And even couple that with Janna's passive, the 3% increased movement speed, there's just no way that Udyr is going to be able to reach anybody.
The Enchanted Crystal Harrow hits the Corki as soon as he starts Valkyring away, so it is going to stun him, but not for too long. The Dredge Line pulls Udyr back into the fight. Janna goes in to try to save her friend, but she goes down as well. That is 2 for nothing right there in the favor of Absolute Legends, and it looks like they're going to go and, I'm assuming, take a tower and perhaps an inhibitor in mid. Riven going to go ahead and solo Dragon as well, just for to put the icing on the cake.
This will most likely be at least the inner turret and perhaps the base turret if they can push quick enough with Ashe and Lulu. But once Riven gets there, they could go for the 5-man for the inhibitor.
Oh, that burst from Lulu is insane.
They will need Riven to keep pushing this very hard though, and Riven's deciding to go for bottom lane, so AL will most likely transition down to the bottom lane and try to push that while they still have Baron. They all have quite a bit of gold to shop for though, but getting things done with Baron is what you want to do optimally. You really don't want to stand around with the Baron buff, the most important buff in the game, and just do nothing with it all game.
Looks like they're going to take 2 towers out of it right now. Riven's going to be able to take down the tier 1 bot tower. She still has her Guardian Angel up. It was not procced in the last 2 fights, so that's definitely good for Absolute Legends. They do have a Guardian Angel. I don't think anyone is close to a Guardian Angel. Udyr could potentially be going a Guardian Angel with the Null Magic and Cloth Armor, but I'm not quite sure of it. Do you think he'll build that after the Randuins, or do you think he's going to go for something else?
I think he's definitely going to go for Aegis right now.
It looks like Aegis, yeah. I saw the Ruby Crystal too.
They need to improve their team fighting right now, because that last fight was absolutely horrible for them, because it feels like they kind of threw it in that fight. But with the Aegis, they're going to be able to sort of bring back the team fight aspect that they really had in that first engage that was so good for them. So Aegis is going to be looking to provide his entire team with a little bit of tankiness, assure them that they won't get bursted down so quickly, and he'll most likely shop for it right now. And I don't think exHCL can defend this turret right now. They'll most likely have to fall back and defend their inner turret.
Riven and Soraka are kind of far away, but they'll be there and just they're just a hop, skip, and a jump away, I suppose. In the meantime, they Absolute Legends doing work with this Baron buff. They've taken down at least all tier 1 turrets in all the lanes, and they were able to take a tier 2 mid turret as well. So they're definitely doing work with it. They have only a little bit left. They only have about a quarter left. So I wonder if they'll look for engage here underneath the turret, or do you think it's not smart to tower dive here?
They definitely don't want to. I don't think they have to tower dive. If an engage happens, it would be initiated by exHCL right now, and it would most likely go in the same manner that last one happened in, which resulted in a Baron for AL. So I think unless they have a hard time pushing against this, they should not tower dive this, and they could just push it down with ease. Ashe's range is not too bad, so the protection she has as well should allow her to keep poking at that tower, keep chipping it down.
And let's see what happens now. The Baron buff will run out in just a matter of seconds. Corki using his long-range missiles to put out a little bit of poke for good measure onto that Lulu over the side of the wall of his base. And it looks like Absolute Legends will go and take the red buff here. Always a good idea to steal the buffs from the enemy team anytime you can.
Absolutely, and now they're going to try to gain control of the jungle of AL. Of exHCL, my bad.
That poke over the wall is just brutal.
Especially because they have the oracles though. Oof.
Riven just not scared of taking a little bit of turret damage. Her Valor is going to protect her from a lot of it, and she has a Guardian Angel, so she's not really scared of anything right now.
Exactly.
The creep wave is pushed way up for exHCL, so they're not going to see a creep wave bot lane anytime soon. So it looks like Absolute Legends is just going to back off.
And Absolute Legends really having a hard time pushing against Corki and against Kennen. And with Varus as well, they have 3 long-range heroes that can just clear the way from quite far away. So that's why they're having a bit of trouble pushing, because they don't want to get flash initiated on again. I mean, it will most likely go in the favor of AL if an engage happens like the one that Kennen initiated on, but there's also the possibility that it goes extremely wrong. So they really don't want to take any chances at all. They want to play the safe game right now. They're in the driver's seat. They want to just take it slow. They know they have the better team fighting, so if they just play it safe, they should be able to come out ahead.
It's interesting because exHCL has pretty much been in the driver's seat at the beginning of the game in both games, and then Absolute Legends has just kicked them out and been like, nope, we're taking over this game. We're going to show you how a late game team fight is supposed to progress, and they're doing it beautifully.
Exactly.
Looks like Absolute Legends is going to camp a little bit in the blue jungle, waiting for a random Udyr perhaps, and here it could go. The activated ultimate comes on, and Udyr gets burst down so quickly. That's not what you want to see on your tanky champion right there. I'm pretty sure Baron will be up in about a minute or two, but Udyr will be back in that time as well, of course.
They should, unless Baron's up in a matter of seconds, they should take this time to keep pushing down the middle while their tank line is down, because that means they can dive it quite easily, because they still have 2 ultimates up. Only Riven and Ashe blew their ultimates, which are kind of a big deal, but nonetheless they could dive without Udyr's presence. But Ashe is just gonna opt to push the top lane tower. They want to have the lane shoved before they go for Baron. They do have complete control of the map with the oracles that Soraka's carrying, so having that wardage over exHCL is going to allow them to either bait it once more or just do it themselves.
And there's the Baron. It did just spawn. It looks like Absolute Legends is going to start heading up there with Nautilus, Soraka, Ashe, Riven, and Lulu are going to be in tow. And looks like they're going to start it. So it looks like this next team fight that's going to happen is going to be for all the marbles. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is almost back up. It's not quite. Lulu doing a good job of kind of kiting the enemy team away from the Baron pit. Can they finish it in time? It looks like they will be able to.
I think they can.
Yeah, definitely. So now they're going to be able to get out of there. The Hawk Shot comes out, revealing the entire enemy team in a line. There's the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Does land onto Corki after the Varus flash, kind of leaving his teammate back there for dust. And the activated of Riven ultimate will take down Corki. A lot of stuff going on. The Slicing Maelstrom is able to CC a lot of members of Absolute Legends, but as soon as his stasis ends of Zanya's Hourglass, he goes down quickly. Lulu able to chase down Varus as well, and this could very well be Absolute Legends' game right here.
This will most likely be game. Last time they did go for a pretty ballsy finish, while all members of exHCL were alive, and now they have 5 members instead of the 4 they had in that last battle. They should be able to finish this with relative ease. Or they could opt to go for the safe route and just take top inhibitor, but most likely they won't, just because they have the ability to tank so much. They got a GA on Riven, yeah. They have the Ashe damage. I think AL gonna take it 2-0.
Yeah, I mean Riven's GA hasn't been popped yet, at all, which is pretty crazy.
I think still we've yet to see a game in this tournament to go to 3 games.
Yeah, it's pretty
crazy. A match
crazy.
to go to 3 games.
And there you go. Absolute Legends is going to take this series 2-0 over exHCL. They have won a trip to San Francisco to come and hang out and play the round robin for the finals, and also a chance at the $20,000 prize pool.